Hello, I'm and welcome back to a Minecraft updated aquatic video. Today I wanted to talk about fish and fishing in Minecraft because it is a system which has entirely changed from being one where you throw a fishing rod into the water, wait a nondescript amount of time, and then suddenly fish the item comes out of there. Instead, it's gone to a system where fish are a real live breathing mob, or I presume they breathe at least, but they're a real live mob that you can find in the oceans. There are 4 different types of them to match the 4 types of fish, but they all have different behaviors, they all have different spawning patterns, and they also all have different variations, like look how big this salmon is, for instance, compared to that one right there. So let me talk about exactly how all of them work and also the best way to fish in this update, because surprisingly enough, if you want to find a given type of fish, the best way is not to use this fishing rod or to, chase them with the fishing rod, because that doesn't work. Fun fact, by the way. But instead, the best way to do this is to, as you can see, I've actually grappled onto one, but it just doesn't help me. It just brings it closer to me. Instead, the best way is to go into the water with a trident or with a sword and to go and massacre them. And I know that sounds really fishy, but trust me, there is no fishy of what I'm saying, and I'm going to be explaining exactly why there is nothing wrong with anything I'm saying in today's video. So please do like it if you do like it, because it helps out the channel a lot, and let's know you do like the fish puns, and I know they're all terrible, but let's get straight into it, shall we? And let's start by talking about exactly, which types of fish you'll find, because there are 4 types. There is cod, the most common type, as you're going to see right here. The second most common type is going to be the salmon, which is found in a bunch of different places, including, interestingly, the rivers, but we'll get into that later. There is the tropical fish, which are only found in the warmer biomes, and there are the pufferfish as well, only found in those warmer biomes as well. So anywhere where you're going to find tropical fish, you're going to find pufferfish, and anywhere where you find pufferfish, you're going to find tropical fish. It's worth noting that there is technically thousands of variants of fish, but again, we're going to talk about the 4 main ones right here, because the most common type of fish you're going to need in Minecraft is just going to be the raw cod, or raw fish as it's known in Bedrock. Again, that's going to change later, we imagine. Basically, raw cod, or just raw fish as it's known, is it's a type of fish you can find in pretty much every single biome, besides the very, very, very warmest ones, and besides rivers. So anywhere where there's water, you're going to eventually find some cod, and if you do decide to kill the cod using whatever weapon, whether it's a trident or whether it's a sword, you're going to get yourself one nice piece of raw fish, as well as a free bone, because when fish die, they drop a bone as well, which is a nice little side thing. So as you can see, the best way to fish in this update is just to chase after fish, and then to get the stuff like that. So that is a thing that works in this update, and that is a thing that is probably the most useful way, to find fish and to find food in this update, because if you want to get a bunch of food, jump into the oceans, do this, cook the fish, and then you've got a pretty solid source of food. And also, actually to tame, ocelots, whole bunch of benefits to it, and obviously I don't need to tell you about the benefits of fish, I just need to tell you how to find them, which is to go into pretty much any single ocean, and then go in there with a sword or anything like that, because any high damage weapon, like the trident, the sword, even a bow and arrow, as bad as that works underwater, will kill the fish and will kill them good and dead. So it's worth noting though, and this is going to apply for all of the fish, if you want to get the most fish from fishing underwater, because let's say you need to find 100 fish, again, the best way to do it is not just to go in there with a trident and have fun with it, although you could have some fun, it's instead to get the looting enchantment. So sadly enough, this is something that might change in the future, but right now there is no way to combine the trident with the looting enchantment. That's not a thing you can do. So if you want to get some extra fish, you're gonna have to put looting on your sword instead. And again, it's not just that you can loot fish to get the thing. Instead, you can also use the looting enchantment on dolphins, because dolphins drop 0 to 1 cod upon death. But if you do, again, this is a monstrous thing to do, but if you really, really need cod, the best thing to do is to also kill some dolphins, because if you kill them using a looting sword, which again is going to be a little bit tricky, then you'll get a bunch more cod on death, because they'll drop more than once. So I got 2 from that one, for instance, which just goes to show that again, if you're willing to be a monster, you can get more cod, not only because that, again, cod are the most common type of fish, but also because one of the most common mobs you'll find underwater, the dolphin, will also give you some cod. So yeah, simple enough, no variants of cod, it's just a really common fish found all over the place, really easy to kill, and that kind of matches how it was before when you had to fish for them. So the second most common type of fish you'll find is going to be the salmon. The reason salmon is found so often is because it's found in all of the cold fish biomes, but also, interesting enough, just as a weird little side note here, if we use our Riptide enchantment to get myself away from here, you'll see how the salmon aren't just found in, again, all the oceans and stuff, they're also found in the rivers. So they're the only fish type that can be found in a river biome. Again, nothing else can be found in there besides just drowned. So if we go into a river, like you can see right here, after a little bit of time in here, you notice how we're going to see ourselves some real live salmon, which is crazy, because again, this means that if you just run around some rivers, which you can do fairly easily, especially if you have a trident like this, if you just run around some rivers and do some crazy stuff, eventually you'll find some salmon. I found 3 salmon right here, and again, I mentioned this at the very start of the video, but they come in different sizes. There is small salmon, there is medium salmon, and then there's the mega big salmon, and it's really, interesting seeing them next to each other, because you usually just assume, actually I think we have all 3 sizes, oh no, they're too small, but it's really interesting seeing the sizes next to each other, because you think it's an optical illusion at first, and you're like, oh, there actually is 3 sizes. So same thing applies for salmon as applies to cod, you get the fish and you get the bone when you kill them, so easy enough to do. Just chase after them, they don't really care about you. Kill them, and then as you can see right here, you get yourself, your salmon as your reward. So let's get our salmon down here, and let's go kill this one right here. Again, I felt a little bit mean doing this, but it is important. Kill the salmon, get your reward. That's the best way to do this. So yeah, what's the best way to find salmon in this? All you have to do is chase after them with your looting sword, which just to clarify something, the looting only works on the dolphins, not on the fish. I think I wasn't quite so clear with that earlier. So with that said, let's move on from this to talk about the next important thing here, which is going to be to do with again, there's two other types of fish. There is the tropical fish, which come in like 3,000 different variants. Basically, you're going to find a lot of fish. Oh, I can swim in the air because it's fun fact, if you have these things, you can fly around the air. It's just the best thing about this update. But let's next talk about the other two types of fish, because you can find clownfish and you can find pufferfish in all of the warm types of ocean. How do you know when you're in a warm ocean? All you need to do is you need to swim until you find sand at the bottom, because sand will only spawn in the warm and the lukewarm oceans, which means that as soon as you find sand at the bottom of the ocean, you're most likely, again, there are some weird exceptions, there are some glitches, you're most likely going to find yourself in a warm or lukewarm biome. So yeah, check the floor of the ocean. If it's gravel, you're not going to find those two types. You can find some cod here if you want to, but if you want to find, again, the rarer types of fish, if you want to find the ones that you're looking for, you need to wait until you find... Okay, so the nearest, warm ocean, or lukewarm ocean from me was actually quite some serious distance, so now we've actually managed to get there. Let's talk about the other two types of fish, because there is clownfish and pufferfish, or tropical fish as they're now known. You might know them as clownfish if you've seen them before, because again, they drop a clownfish-looking thing as well, but they are tropical fish. They are technically a different thing, because tropical fish spawn in 3,000 different varieties. So, admittedly, only 2,700 of those varieties are ever encounterable in the normal Minecraft without mods on, and also, admittedly, only like 22 types of those will ever come up frequently. This is an example of that. However, tropical fish spawn all over the place in warm biomes in Minecraft, and you can spot warm biomes by the sand at the bottom and by the coral reefs you'll find around them, as well as, like desert, ruins and stuff. Basically, if you just look around places where it looks warm, you'll eventually find these tropical fish, which spawn in so many different varieties. Honestly, the only challenge when it comes to killing them, because again, they have the same, basically non-existent health as every other mob, the only difficulty of killing them is, of course, the tiny hitboxes that they do have, because they are the smallest of the fish, that do exist in the game. At least most of them are. They are really, really small in most cases, and it's just worth bearing in mind that if you want to kill these guys, you're going to have to go for a little bit of pain. And also keep in mind that there's no good reason to want to kill tropical fish, because right now, clownfish or tropical fish, again, whichever way you want to know it, it doesn't really bother me how you refer to them. You can use whichever name you want to, but it is worth mentioning that there is no use for clownfish in the current game besides being a pretty mediocre source of food. So again, if you want to collect tropical fish or clownfish, then you can go do that, but it's not quite as useful as the next one you might want to collect, which is the pufferfish. So pufferfish are found in these same places. Again, they're a little bit rarer because they don't spawn in huge groups, but pufferfish will spawn, and then, okay, there we can see. No, wait, no, we can't see. So yeah, look at the different types of tropical fish. Just take a few seconds to appreciate that while we look around here, because it's one of the beautiful things about this update, the tropical fish and all the variants they come in. But let's talk about the pufferfish, because they spawn in only in the same places, and you'll spot them because they'll be really small or really like puffed out. Because again, like a pufferfish in real life, they come puff out, and as a result of that, you've got to watch out for the poison that they can bring with them. So if we keep looking around the ocean biome a little bit longer, then we'll find some pufferfish. So these are pufferfish right here, just next to the dolphin. And yeah, pufferfish are really dangerous because while they are puffed out like that, they have a 5x5 block radius. So again, you got the nearby blocks around them, which will all inflict poison onto their subject and onto any humans that go near them. So what you got to keep in mind is don't approach these while they're like this. Whether you want to kill them or not, although if you want to kill them, you might have a bucket of milk with you. Just stay away from them. So like, keep your distance while they're puffed out. But while they're puffed out, again, they poison you. But while they're not puffed out, like that one over there. Oh no, he's coming towards me. But while they're not puffed out, they're not able to poison you. So that's something you gotta keep in mind. Go and kill them when they're all small like this, because again, oh gosh, okay, and then make sure you don't touch them, because the exact same thing will happen. So yeah, basically, watch out for these fish. They are poisonous, and you want to keep your distance from them. But the upside is once you kill them, you get pufferfish, which is great for two reasons. The first one, okay, I'm gonna be careful. There we go, I did that carefully. You see, didn't get poisoned that time. So there's two reasons you might want pufferfish. The first one is the fact that, oh yeah, you can use them to make some water-breathing potions. The second reason is because you can use them to get just a little bit high inside Minecraft. Look at this beauty. Yeah, that's right. We can go for a an absolutely destroyed, trippy run inside Minecraft. It's a thing you can do. using the clownfish. So yeah, with that said, that's how you fish for fish in Minecraft. Again, it sounds ridiculous, but as of the current update, the best way to search for them, the most efficient fish per hour, for most of those types of fish, is to go and hunt them by yourself. It's arguable that with the right enchantments and the right fishing setup and like an automatic farm, you'll get more cod if you just do it yourself. But with all of the other types of fish, when it comes to pufferfish, when it comes to tropical fish, when it comes to even salmon, the best way with pretty much no doubt is to, simply go into the ocean, look for the fish, and then kill them yourself. It's like, the best way to find beef is not to, hope that eventually it, comes from a rare drop or another player gives it to you. The best way to get beef is to kill a cow, and the same thing has happened with fish as of this update. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it. I've been making aquatic update tutorials, a whole bunch on this channel, so if you want to see more of those, make sure you check back daily on this channel. And if you want to see the ones that have been made so far, because you can't wait to, check back in the future, there is a playlist linked down below and also at the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.